I'm out here just relaxing. There's wind blowing overhead. There's a tree right in front of me that's just blowing back and forth. My home right now is surrounded by trees. Um, every window just about that you look out of, you can see some trees someplace, and it's just the sun is shining. It's a little warm, but you have this cool breeze. Where I live, you have this cool breeze on a regular basis. It's kind of nice. So the dogs are kind of relaxed. You can see one of them right there. Right there. Can you see him? I don't know. Whatever. So, but I've been thinking about a lot of things for many, many years. I've been thinking about many, many, many different things. Trying to connect the dots. But a lot of times not having the data from which to connect the dots. Okay. So years ago, what I'd like to talk about is how the human brain works. Okay, or at least give you an introduction to my theory based upon information that I got from a brain scientist. So get ready. Are you ready for this? You ready are you ready to explore the recesses of your brain? you know? But I can remember years ago, I took a psychology class. I said this in another video, and it just didn't make sense to me. It's like, I didn't know what I was looking for. And I just knew that this wasn't it. I was like, as a Christian, it's kind of like, what is the scientific basis of faith? How does faith work? How does Christianity work? Where are the miracles? How do you live an extraordinary life as a Christian? Is that even possible? It's just like I was just thinking of for many, many years, how does this work? And sometimes I get very frustrated with Christianity as I understood it, because I just didn't see the kind of results that I was hoping to see. And I'm, just living an unusual, extraordinary life. I think that, instead of living a life of boredom, where you're doing, it's good to do a 401k, it's good to do all these kinds of things. And over 10, 20, 30, 40 years, have a little nest egg and take care of yourself in retirement and all that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, it just seemed like boring to me. And I was just like, for years, I've explored different businesses again and again and again, trying to find a way to live an extraordinary life. And during all of this exploration, trying to understand, positive thinking and, is it real? Does it actually do anything? Blah, blah, blah. All these positive thinking books. And then you look at the Bible and what Jesus is saying, and how do you put it all together? So one day, and I'm not saying that I have found the how to put it all together, but I wanted to throw some ideas out to you so that you would actually, to start to explore this for yourself and see if maybe my theories are on the right track, or maybe you want to take a little piece here, a little piece there, based upon what you know, and come up with something else, some other theory. But one day, I was just totally bored. I was just like, and I talked to Lord. I said, Lord, I'm tired of just zoning out. I'm tired of just, the whole escapism type thing. It's just like, I'm done. It's just like, is there anything out there? I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what I want. I don't know what it is. Can you help me? And I flipped on my Wi-Fi TV, connected up to the TBN app, and that's Trinity Broadcasting Network, and I said, man, I just don't want to listen to a bunch of preachers trying to get money out of me. I just don't want to do that. And I'm not, trying to discount, their philosophy. I mean, they need money, whatever, but I wanted something different. So then I was flipping through, looking for something different, and I came across a brain scientist. Her name is Caroline Leaf. And I said, wow, this is kind of interesting. This is fascinating. And so I started looking at her information, you know. And she has, you know, I must have looked maybe 30 plus hours. I have 2 of her audiobooks. I've got, I recorded most of her information, turned them into MP3s off of TBM, recorded it all, and then uploaded it to a cloud so that I could listen to it wherever I went. I've listened to hours and hours of this. And then she started talking about quantum physics. And I'm going, quantum physics? Yeah, she started talking about how the brain works, how you learn, and this is all based upon science. You see, what in 1974 or thereabouts, you know, after I graduated from high school and I started going to college, I came across this psychology class. The information I was looking for wasn't available, okay? It was starting to be looked into in the 1980s and confirmed in the mid 1990s by a number of people, not just her, but a number of people. And again, she proved that her theories, came up with theories on how the mind works. And she went throughout South Africa to poor areas and taught children how to learn, taught them the basis of how the mind works. And you know, there's a lot of information about that. But she started talking about quantum physics. I'm going, quantum physics? What are you talking about? You know, that's way beyond me. But I can't, you know, I'm trying to summarize, you know, 30 plus hours of listening into this little video. And it can't be done. All I can say is I really strongly suggest you go to YouTube and start watching some of her videos. You can download them, you know, there are apps, programs you can download and turn in MP3s, you know, put them on your device so that while you're driving or whatever, you can get this kind of information in your head, because she actually talks about toxic thinking, how it causes brain damage, physical brain damage, you know. And then basically she's coming up with a theory, as I understand it, I could be wrong, is like the mind actually constructs the brain. Okay, so that her theory was that the mind is separate from the brain. The mind is the software and the brain is the hardware. And this is called neuroplasticity, I believe. And so the way you think can actually reconfigure your physical brain, and that the brain is designed for love. And so toxic thinking that is not based upon love, can actually cause brain damage. This is interesting stuff. So it's kind of like listening to her stuff. It's kind of like almost getting somewhat of a scientific basis for faith and how faith works. Also how your mind works. I mean, it's just like, it's just so much information there. Like the subconscious mind does something like 400 billion actions per second. And the conscious mind, I think it does 30,000 actions per second. It was something like that. And that the conscious mind can actually affect how the subconscious mind works. And it's just like you as a human being can actually influence your thinking and what the subconscious mind does by what you, through your conscious mind, think. And it's just like, wow, but where is all this going? Well, to me, it was, I was looking at, you know, network marketing. I'm looking at the Enagic business, and I was just looking at network marketing as a whole. You know, some people are extraordinarily successful, and some people are not. And you know, part of me is going, what is it? Like some people seem to have the X factor, and what is that X factor? Is that X factor, can it be developed and everything? And then I, after listening to her, it's just, I'm thinking, this points towards quantum physics. It points towards how we think. You see, how we think actually can influence other people without us saying one word. How we actually think. Now, she actually did an experiment where, well, not she, but I think some brain scientists did an experiment where they took some DNA in a test tube, and they went into a room that cuts out all outside electromagnetic interference. And what they did is they were told, the researchers, to think negative thoughts about this DNA that's in the test tube. And it caused problems to the DNA. And then they did the same thing. They took DNA and they said, now this time think positive thoughts about this DNA. And the DNA was getting to the point where it was about ready to express. It was in a very positive state, okay? And that was really interesting. So actually, what she's talking about is that the way we think can actually influence people without us even being aware, without us saying a word to them. Our influence can just being around them can influence them, but it even goes beyond that. But I don't want to go into the other part. You need to check her out. If anything, if your curiosity is piqued by what I'm saying right now, check her out. Because I was going through this material on quantum physics. I go, well, this is kind of interesting. And then I went to YouTube. I said, what is quantum physics? I never really paid attention. I know of Newtonian physics, Sir Isaac Newton, and for hundreds of years, like he was the basis for physics. But quantum physics, what is it? So I looked at a few YouTube videos on what is quantum physics, and they talk about a probability wave and bringing a probability into actuality by our actions, and I was thinking maybe even by thinking we can actually affect the probability wave and actually bring things from the from one area, from Newtonian physics. It's like it seems more real than quantum physics. But by thinking, can we use quantum physics to change the reality in Newtonian physics? Because Newtonian physics is actually a subset of quantum physics. It's like, wow, this is interesting. So the way you think can influence other people. It's just like, wow. So I went to a grocery store, and I was going through the stuff of quantum physics, feeling can people influence one another without even saying a word? And there was a checker at this grocery store, and I'm saying, man, I feel like I know this guy. And I'm studying a little bit about quantum physics. I feel like I'm feeling something from him. So I ask him a question. I say, man, what do you think about? What are you thinking about right now? He says, my music. He says, wow, what do you think about all the time? He says, my music. I'm constantly thinking about my music. And it was as though his thinking about music was influencing the feeling I had towards him, that because he seemed like somebody I knew, or somebody that was famous, or he reminded me of some famous person, but I didn't know who. And perhaps what I was actually sensing was the creativity in his own mind through quantum physics that was somehow touching me. That's quantum physics. So when you look at a business, a people business, what you're thinking, if what you are thinking can influence other people, just what you're thinking, it doesn't matter what you say. So it's kind of like, well, how do I think better? And then Caroline Leaf goes through how to get rid of toxic thinking, how to get rid of the kinds of thinking that is destructive. So just by your thinking, you may be able to build a huge business, because if your thinking, if your words match up with positive thinking that you are believing, and then she goes into cognitive dissonance, which is your heart actually has neurons in it. It's like 50,000 neurons, when your brain has like billions of neurons. So you have to get your heart, in line with your mind. Otherwise, you have cognitive dissonance. You just can't do this from your mind. It's got to be from your heart too. And it's just like, this is kind of interesting. So I hope it piqued your interest in maybe exploring a little bit about what the material that Dr. Leaf has to offer. I think you'll find it really, really interesting. And what maybe the takeaway here is that trying to look at how you're thinking, because how you're thinking without you saying a word can actually influence other people. So if you're very, very negative and you're thinking really, really negative thoughts, you're sending out a quantum signal, I guess, a quantum signal to other people, like stay away. So even if you get involved with a business, say, well, the business doesn't work. No, the business doesn't work for you with your mindset. You have to change your mindset, get rid of the toxic thinking. And that's the process that you have to embrace if you want to be in a people business. So that's kind of like the process I'm trying to embrace myself, you know. I'm trying to figure this out. But she gives a tremendous amount of information on how this works. I hope this has been helpful to you. God bless you. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. It's a great day today. It's a great day to be alive. God bless you. Bye-bye.